What's going on, guys? How are you? Welcome to All Signs Tarot. We're going to be taking a look at what your person would say if they had the balls. Okay. So this can be about what they would say about themselves to you and how they feel, and what they would say about you to you. And then, of course, as always, I'm going to pull advice messages. What's going on, Complexity? Miss Redmond, Tom, always good to see you. Complexity, thank you so much for your help. Lori, don't worry about it. I understand life happens. What's up, Tom? I was a little naughty, but mostly I've just been reading and writing. Honestly, I get into these spells where if I start the reading and writing journey, it's really all I want to do. If I start reading a book, it's all I want to do. If I start writing again, it's all I want to do. Can't escape it. Mm. Kombucha. I think that's how you say it, right? Good for your gut health. How's everybody doing? Did you guys have a good weekend? I hope it was awesome. My cat spilled coffee all over the cards that Carmen got me, so I was super happy about that. Can't even tell you how many things that cat has ruined. She's just so cute. I'm pretty sure I'd let her ruin my life. You are very good at it, Violetta. Do not ever stop. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, I love it. Never gonna escape me. It's never going to escape me, and I don't want it to, quite frankly. All right, you guys. So once again, welcome to All Signs Tarot. We're going to be taking a look at what your person would say to you if they had the balls. This is going to be what they would say to you about themselves, what they would say to you about you, and advice messages. If you are interested in getting a super chat question for your own personal circumstance, then you can head on over to hipsy.com/Violetta Alexis and you can book there. I have 2 card spreads, 4 card spreads, 6, 9, and 12. So something to keep in mind. If you do book your question before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then you will get 15% off, okay? What's going on, Daniel? Damn, that's good. I can't even lie. All righty. Great. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, so I guess I'll start with Pisces first. We haven't started backwards in a really long time, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Pisces, what is going on? I hope that you're having an excellent week thus far. We're going to be taking a look at the person on your mind, what they would tell you about themselves and their feelings if they had the balls, and what they would tell you. Then I'm going to pull an advice message, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and check it out. What they would tell you about themselves, the Fool reversed. What they would tell you about you is the Queen of Swords reversed. And your advice is the Hierophant. Okay. Well, let's see that Fool reversed first. Two of Pentacles, the Magician reversed. So if they had I don't want to keep saying balls during the stream, so I guess I'm going to say if they were to have the courage to tell you what they would tell you about themselves. We have the Fool reversed. We have the Two of Pentacles. We have the Magician reversed. They would likely tell you that they are always stuck between making very reckless decisions due to impulsivity or selfishness and making practical decisions. They would likely tell you that no matter what it looks like on the surface, that they feel pretty chaotic inside. They could feel like also, or they would say that they know that they made a really impulsive decision despite your feelings. And I don't know if they would necessarily say that they're sorry, but there seems to be some kind of awareness around making impulsive decisions. And I think that they would probably tell you the reason why that they do that, or the reason why they can be a little reckless sometimes, or they can be a little aloof, or sometimes they can jump the gun, is because there's a lot of self-doubt in regards to this person. The magician reverse can sometimes point to somebody who has a very scattered mind. Okay. So with the Fool here, which is Uranus, and then you have the Magician, which is Mercury. These are very much planets to do with the mind, and it's about how we think and about our own personal sense of authenticity with Uranus. So they have a hard time kind of keeping the balls in the air sometimes because their mind is essentially scattered. They may feel like sometimes they don't know what the right decision is when it comes to you and them. With the Fool reversed, I want to get one more on that Fool reversed. The Five of Pentacles reversed. Mm. They would tell you that there's likely this feeling of lack that they have within them. So if it is like, maybe they grew up and they didn't have a parent or a proper parental figure, or, maybe they feel like they're just missing love in their life in general, whatever it is, these impulsive decisions that they do, they would tell you is coming from that place of lack. It's coming from this place of attempting to fill some kind of void. It's almost as if this person's higher self is trying to explain their own sense of self awareness, even though their lower self or their 3D self knows it, but doesn't always grasp it or hold on to it, or, tries to maybe suppress it or shove it down. So I think that this person would likely tell you that they're very well aware that they can be scattered and impulsive, and it's usually because they're attempting to fill some kind of void. And even though they may try to they may make something look easy, like if this person goes through a lot of trials and tribulations, for instance, they may say, I try to make it look easy because I don't want people to know what I'm really feeling inside. That's likely the case, because the Two of Pentacles is truly chaos. It's just controlled chaos, in my opinion. It's just controlled chaos. So what they would tell you about you, here you go. Don't get mad at me. Let's see what it is. The Queen of Swords reversed with the Tower reversed. The Five of Cups. Ooh. Some of y'all have a temper. Is that what that is? This person would likely tell you that they don't like the way that you speak to them, or they may feel like you are somebody who tends to snap, especially when angered. They would probably tell you that they feel sometimes you're overly emotional, and they also believe that that's tied to something that you've been through in your life. So maybe you were abandoned, or, maybe you were assaulted in some way or something. Whatever the past thing is, they feel like that has accumulated now into your own personal psyche. So I find it interesting because in their own mind, they feel like there's something quite chaotic about the way that they think, which is likely rooted in self doubt and insecurity. And then in turn, they also feel like you're quite chaotic in the way that you think. And they feel that the reason why you snap, or the reason why you get overly emotional, or the reason maybe you give them the silent treatment or whatever it is because there's a fear of loss. There's a fear of letting go. And they may feel like sometimes you even sabotage in some way. What's that? Five of Cups? Six of Cups reversed. They know that you still are holding some kind of grudge, or they would tell you that they feel like you're still holding some kind of grudge. They would likely tell you that they regret it, the thing that made you, I don't know, despise them or dislike them or not respect them as much as you have. But it's kind of that energy of, well, I can't change it. What am I supposed to do? I can't change it. So it's a chaotic energy, and it's interesting because it's almost as if, the way that I look at it, it's almost as if this person feels you guys are similar in different ways. So where this person they try to keep the balls in the air, um, through mental distortion, and you try to hold on to things by attempting to control the narrative or just control it in general. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's what they seem to be seeing or feeling about it. Your advice is the Hierophant and the Ten of Swords. What have you learned thus far? And what do you feel like you need to continue to learn? Is what you're attempting to build, is it rooted okay, weird, I just heard the word self-sacrifice, so I'm not sure where that came from. I'm not sure why I heard that. I'm not sure why I heard self-sacrifice. Maybe some of you sacrifice yourselves too much, or maybe you don't sacrifice enough. I don't know which side of the fence you're on. But there's something here in the way that you've built your relationships thus far that just essentially is not working. And it can also be asking, are you building your relationships off of trauma? You know, are you building a relationship on top of betrayals that have essentially just been swept under the rug? You know what I mean by that? Because I think that if there are betrayals like in a relationship and a connection, it can certainly be adjusted. It can certainly be, you know, I guess I don't want to use really the word fixed, but it can be mended. It can be mended, but it's going to take a lot of work. It's about rebuilding completely. And it's also asking you, what are your fundamental belief systems about relationships? You know, is there betrayal trauma involved? You know, what are your morals and your values in regards to relationships? And are you acting in accordance with that? So that is what I have for you, Pisces. Thank you guys so much. I do hope that you will like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to book a super chat question to get your cards read during the live, then you can head on over to hipsy.com/Violetta Alexis. If you order before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then you'll be able to get 15% off. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thanks a lot. Valeria? Okay, sorry about that. I had to get my cat out of my room. All right. There you go, Daniel. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to Aquarius. What's going on, Aqua? I hope you guys are good. Welcome. We're going to be taking a look at the person that's on your mind. We're going to see what they would say if they had the courage about themselves to you, and what they would say if they had the courage about you to you. Okay. And then we're going to pull some advice messages. What they would say to you about them is the sun. What they would say to you about you is the Empress. Damn. Your advice. 10 of Pentacles. Wow, I don't even want to clarify, Aquarius. I just heard the song Linger by the Cranberries. I don't know if that you know that song or if that holds some kind of significance, but I heard it, so I got to tell you. So what would this person say to you if they had the courage? The Sun, the Three of Pentacles, and the Seven of Wands. This person would likely tell you that they're pretty confident in themselves for the most part. But just because they're confident, or maybe even egoic once in a blue moon, okay, or maybe a lot, they still feel like they have a lot to learn from you. And I think that they're truly grateful for that. This is somebody who would likely tell you that sometimes they can feel a little, I don't want to say like they're in competition, but it almost feels healthy. It's kind of like when you have this good. Have you ever met somebody that just by who they are and what they do, they challenge you to be better? I think that's what this person would likely tell you. it's all in good spirits is what it feels like. Because while this person may tell you that they're very confident, and I do think that for the most part they are, and I think you make them very happy, they still feel like there's something about you that they have to learn from. And we all have something to learn from everyone, you know? Sometimes it doesn't even matter the age, you know? I've learned so much from when, like, my children, you know, they're 11 and 12. I've learned so much from them. You know, we have something to learn from everybody, even if we like them, if we love them, if we don't, whatever it is, there's something to learn from every person on this planet if you take the time. And I feel like that's kind of the mind frame of it for them. For some of you, okay, this person may want to work with you on some kind of collaborative effort or on some kind of creative project, okay? Um, this is somebody who I would say sees you, and I think that through you, they would likely tell you that they see more about themselves than before they met you. So it feels like this person has learned a lot about their own personal sense of identity. They may sometimes feel, what is the word? Not really defensive, but sometimes they may feel like you are, I don't even want to say better than them, because that would be coming from like a negative place, but because the what they would tell you about you is the Empress, you know, and the Empress is the queen of all queens. She's the creme de la creme. She's the top tier, you know. So with the 7 of wands, the 7 of wands can be somebody who is sometimes a little jealous of another person, you know, but I feel like it would be a healthy jealousy, and like, okay, not jealousy where I'm going to take you down and I'm going to ruin your life, but a jealousy in the way of like, "Oh, damn, I want to be like Aquarius," you know? Something like that, but it's in good spirits. I don't think that they want to harm you. Like, even if this person is someone that has acted jealous about you before, or something like that, it's really because they admire you, okay? Now, that's no excuse for bad behavior, like, don't get me wrong, but they do, in my opinion, I do believe that they admire you, and I think that you make them question a lot of things about who they are and what they wanna do and their view on life or the world or whatever it may be, because that sun can be, like, shining a light on something. And so I think that you make them see a lot more than they were really prepared for. So let's see what they would say to you about you. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I feel like this person is the King of Pentacles, and I feel like you're the Empress. Okay, reverse it if you need to. But the Empress with the King of Pentacles and the Four of Wands reversed. I am going to clarify that Four of Wands in a minute, but now let me explain something about tarot, okay? You have the court cards, you have the pages, you have the knights, then you have the kings and the queens, okay? But then at the very top is the Emperor and the Empress, okay? This is the top dogs, right? So the Emperor holds all of the kings inside of himself. He is the King of Pentacles. He is the King of Cups. He is the King of Wands. He is the King of Swords, as does the Empress with all of the queens. Well, I think that this person probably sees themselves as a King of Pentacles, but they see you as an Empress. So I don't want to say that they like feel as though you're better than them, but there's something that they likely see in you that they believe that they could improve upon. And I think that they would likely tell you that it sometimes makes them a little nervous, or it makes them a little uncertain. It makes them a little insecure, even though I do feel that this is somebody who knows what they're capable of. Let me put it that way. And sometimes when we know what we're capable of, but we are not emulating that, or we are not projecting that out into the world, but we see others doing it, it can go one of two ways. Either we can get really jealous of that and we can try to hurt that other person because we can't stand that we are not that in our own lives, or we can learn from that person and be like, how do I get there? I truly believe that this person wants to learn from you to be able to get to that point. whether it's just a place of, I don't know, emotional maturity, maybe it's where you're at in your career, maybe it's just who you are as an individual. But I feel like this person looks up to you in some ways, even though they're quite confident in themselves. I think that you've taught them a lot about who they are, and that's likely what they would tell you if they had the courage. Maybe they have already told you. I don't know. But there can be this feeling of, for them, where they're feeling unwelcomed, and I don't know if you have actually told them they're unwelcomed or if they just feel that because of some kind of insecurity. But this is somebody who I think wants to commit to you or is committed to you in some way, but there's a lot of insecurity around, well, how do I get to Aquarius's level? Don't settle. Immediately when I saw the 10 of Pentacles with the 6 of Pentacles reversed, I was getting don't settle. You need to remember your value. I think that sometimes, and I'm not saying anything negative about this person by any means, okay? But sometimes, if to become less threatening to people, we can attempt to make, or and to become more likable, we tend to make ourselves smaller. We tend to talk a little bit more quiet. We tend to become incredibly modest, almost to the point of self deprecation, because we don't want somebody to feel offended by our positive qualities or whatever, right? And sometimes you need to do that. It's like in the 48 Laws of Power, which I have not read the whole thing. It just seems like the narcissist's handbook. Um, no offense to Robert Greene, the author. I mean, very incredible book. But I did read that part, and don't outshine the master, kind of thing. Although sometimes it's not really the master you're outshining, it's just a silly guy in a tinfoil hat. You know what I'm saying? That thinks the world revolves around him or whatever, right? So sometimes we have to do that. But with you, I don't know if that made any sense. I hope it did. It made sense in my head. But with you, don't do that. Don't start to play small because you feel like, in order to be with somebody or in order to attract somebody, that's what you would have to do. Quite the contrary. I think that people should rise to meet you at your level, as long as you're doing it in good faith, and you're being yourself and you're being kind, right? I feel like people should rise to the occasion if they really want us that bad. And so allow this person to rise to the occasion and don't sell yourself short. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. Thank you so much. I do hope you will like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you would like to book a super chat question to get your cards read during this live, then you can do so at hipsy.com/Violetta Alexis. Thanks a lot, Aqua. What's up, Indigo? What's up, Middle Night Rain? Hi, Alexa. Who's Alexa? All right. Let me go ahead and put that I'm live on Hipsy. Okay, cool. Awesome, awesome. All right. Shout out to my early birds who got their 15% off discount for booking before 7. Good for you. All right, let's go ahead and move on to my Capricorns. What's going on, Capricorns? I hope that you are doing absolutely incredible. I hope that you're having a great week so far. I know, Capricorns, you are probably up at 6 a.m. before all of us and just beating us all to the punch. Some of you, right? Mm. Let's go ahead and take a look at your person, what they would say to you about themselves and what they would say to you about you, and then we will see your advice. Okay, so let's see. What they would say about themselves to you is the King of Wands. What they would say to you about you is the Five of Swords reversed. And advice is the Two of Cups. Okay, well, let's see what they would say about themselves to you. The Queen of Cups reversed. I feel like the Queen of Cups reversed is you. Take it as it resonates. And the Chariot. Mm. So this is somebody who would probably just tell you that they're very fucking attracted to you. You know, I mean, they're very attracted to you. This is somebody who would likely tell you that maybe for a very small few of you, this may be somebody who would be willing to go into business with you if that's something that you're interested in. But regardless of the attraction that they have for you, regardless of how much they want to show you their heart or how much they want to take the initiative or how much they want to stick to you and stick it out and stick around, they would tell you that they know that you don't trust them. Okay. And they would probably tell you that they're sorry, especially if they had something to do with that. And I say that because that chariot is there, which is Cancerian energy. But the chariot is very motivated because of emotional circumstances. They're very emotionally motivated to protect what it is that's important to them. And there's this sense of them likely wanting to tell you that they want to have a victory in this. They're very determined to do so. And it's like, not to sound dramatic, they'll stop at nothing. I'm not saying all that, but this person really, really is determined, probably to get you to trust them. So I do want to see that Queen of Cups reversed, the Nine of Pentacles. Mm. This to me is likely a very independent person. And they feel okay, so this is very specific, okay, but this is what I'm getting, so I have to say it. This person is likely very independent. And I don't know if that's like financially independent or they're just independent in character, but they would likely tell you that my independence is not a threat to our relationship. Okay. Um, my independence is not a threat to my love for you or something like that. And so I think that this person wants to prove this to you, but not like where they're over promising and under delivering, where they're promising and they're sticking to their word. And that's what they would likely tell you that they want. They want to stick to their word. They want to pursue this. They want to, I think that this person feels that they need to take matters into their own hands in order for you to change your opinion about them, maybe. Okay. Because the chariot can be about control, and that Queen of Cups in reverse is right behind it. So it's making me feel like they would likely tell you that they know that it's a lot of you trusting them or distrusting them. A lot of that is in their control, but they may feel like they can only do so much. So there's something about their independence that they feel you're threatened by. Okay, whether that's true or not. What they would say to you about you. Wow. They would likely tell you that they know how you feel, even if you don't say it. This would be somebody who would likely say, you don't have to play detective for the rest of your life because you've had a lot of losses. Like, if you're somebody who feels like they can just never win in relationships, or you just had a lot of losses or whatever, this person is trying to tell you that you don't really need that mind frame here, and that they feel like you can be very maybe suspicious, or you can be somebody who feels like they need to hide things or protect themselves so much because of a fear of something, because you feel like you need to protect yourself. And hey, like, listen, I'm definitely that kind of person. Okay. So I get it, but let me see that Eight of Wands reversed, the Six of Swords. They think that you're paranoid to share certain things with them. Like, they feel like a big part of like a blockage between the two of you, or a blockage within the dynamic, is because you keep trying to force a narrative instead of just trying to resolve it and kind of move on, whether that's true or not. And they would tell you that you don't need to do that. This person does seem to be attempting to build some level of trust with you, but they feel like you're so inside of yourself or you're so inside of your head that it really becomes very difficult to do that. They may also feel like you're somebody who has tried so very hard to protect yourself in your life, to, I don't know, to, betrayals or whatever. And they feel like you're still in that mind frame of some sort, like you're still in that same mentality. It's kind of like when people go to war and then they come back and their mind is still in that, they hear like a horn honk outside and they're like, everybody duck, and I'm not, I mean, that's really sad, and so I'm not saying it's that, like, dramatic or intense, but they feel that it's something like that, like PTSD maybe, or okay, so it's almost like this energy of there's only so much I can do to get you to trust me, or there's only so much that I can do to, yeah. So your advice is the Two of Cups and the Star reversed. The Two of Cups is about a connection, and sometimes it can represent a soulmate connection that you have with another, but sometimes it can represent the love that you give to yourself. And there's something here with that star reversed, which makes me feel like you've maybe lost your faith, or lost your faith in God, or lost your faith in the universe, lost your faith in love, lost your faith in people, humanity, connection. And if that is the case, Capricorn, it does take a very long time to rebuild and rewire your brain out of that, And unfortunately, you'll never quite be the little boy or little girl who was so trusting, or maybe a little naive, or, living off in fantasy fairy tale land. But there is a way to protect yourself that is not all consuming. And so I hope that you can, if this is you, I hope that you can discover that. I hope you can focus on your biggest goals and dreams and aspirations, things that make you feel alive, things that make you feel like you, things that connect you with you, for the long term. And yeah, that's what I have for you. So that was a little deep, Capricorn. Obviously, I hope that you guys have a great week. Let me know how this resonated for you in the comments if you have not. And if you would like to book a super chat question and get your cards read during this live, then you can head on over to hipsy.com/Violetta Alexis. Thanks a lot, Capricorn. What's up, Nathaniel? How you doing? What's up, Alien? What's up, Casey? All right. Shall we move on to Sagittarius? What's going on, Sagittarius? Terrius? I'm so used to saying Sagittarius that I just say it like that. I'm so sorry, Saggy. I love you. I hope you guys are having an excellent week. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the person on your mind. We're going to see what they would say to you if they had the courage, and then what they would say to you about you if they had the courage. Then we're going to take a look at some advice messages. The Death card for what they would say to you. The Knight of the Knight of Wands reversed for what they would say to you about you. Then your advice is the Page of Wands reversed. Let's see that Death. Oh my. Ooh, did you guys have an ending here? You know what? I'm feeling like we just need to see the full Monty. My goodness. So what they would say to you, for those of you that had an ending, they would definitely tell you that they absolutely feel like it's done. They feel like it's done, and they would tell you that they have changed because of this relationship or because of this connection. They would likely tell you that there has been some suffering in regards to their ego or pride, as with most endings or with most breakups. And I'm not saying this is a super egotistical person. Your ego is just, when your feelings get fucking hurt. You know what I mean? You know, to put it laymanly. But this is somebody who is not uncertain anymore about where they feel like they stand in your life. They're not stuck on stupid anymore. They're not looking for attention. They would tell you that they're not trying to create a bunch of drama. They're not trying to create a bunch of unnecessary attention towards you or even draw any unnecessary attention to themselves. I do want to see that Eight of Swords reversed, the Four of Cups. It almost feels like something that they've seen made them feel certain about a choice or made them feel sure about the decision that they feel like they needed to make when it came to evolving, changing, or ending the connection, or around the ending of the connection. Because that Eight of Swords reverse can pop up when we know the decision we need to make. We know the choice that we need to make to get ourselves out of a fucked up situation, or to get ourselves out of our own minds, or to get ourselves out of this self-imposed prison. And they would tell you that a lot of this is their fault. And I'm not saying that, like, even if you were a piece of crap in the relationship, okay, there's still this responsibility that they're taking within their own mind, where they're like, okay, well, I can either just keep complaining about this, or I can leave, or I can keep complaining about this, or I can change, or whatever it is. And so they would tell you that that's what they're doing. Despite their disappointments, that's what they want to do. And so there's an evolutionary process that they would tell you that they're currently going through right now. And they're not looking for, a big parade. They're not looking for a pat on the back. They would just tell you they're looking for honest to God change within themselves. Let's see what that death is. Death reversed. Two of Wands reversed. So there was a decision that they said that they felt like they needed to make, and they may have been sitting on the fence for a long time about it. And I don't know if this is just like they decided that, hey, listen, I can't be smoking and drinking with you, every other day anymore, because I really need to take better care of my health and my body. Or if this was them saying, there are certain things about me that need to evolve, and I need to let this go in order for that to happen. Or I really evolved because of the relationship, even though it really hurt my pride or hurt me or whatever it is. So that Two of Wands reverse, clarifying that death, is indicative of somebody who was in their comfort zone for a really long time. This can be somebody who maybe wasn't very good at planning things. Maybe they were just very in their comfort zone in this relationship, or they are in their comfort zone in some way. And just very on the fence about what needs to change. But they would tell you that either it's changing now or it has to change. Something about them has to change, has to evolve, which means something needs to die. And I don't know if that's actually the connection or just something within themselves, and maybe how they deal with the connection. So that's what they would likely tell you about them. Now, as far as what they would tell you about you, well, the Knight of Wands reversed, the Ten of Wands reversed, and the Eight of Pentacles. This is somebody that would tell you that you're erratic and that you create drama because you need some level of validation. Okay. Now, whether this is true or not, don't know, don't care. I'm just telling you what they would say to you about you. They feel like you are not responsible, like you don't take on the responsibilities that you need to because you're too busy playing, I don't know, playing the high school guy or the high school girl, or you're too busy attempting to get validation or create chaos so you can feel some level of control, which is actually completely out of control. And they feel like it needs to end, and they feel like they see this potential in you with that Eight of Pentacles. Like there's a standard that needs to be raised, or there's a standard that maybe you are raising now. but they do feel like you're somebody who is very work oriented, or you're somebody who could be, but it feels like something around potential. Eight of Pentacles, Temperance reverse is clarifying the Eight of Pentacles. So they feel like you're somebody that really needs to master balance. And they would likely tell you that too much of a good thing that you perceive as a good thing doesn't necessarily mean it's always a good thing. And they feel like everything in moderation, and you need to practice some level of moderation in your life. But that's true or not, okay? But they do feel like when you really go for it, like, you can really put your pedal to the metal and really work on it. Like, this person may also feel like, for some of you, if you have some kind of addictions or unhealthy coping mechanisms, that, like, you need to work on that shit, or maybe you are. Okay. Your advice, Page of Wands reversed and the Seven of Pentacles reversed. So this is like a point of maturity. Okay. Maybe this is reversed for some of you guys. Okay. I'm really sorry if it is, but I can't help how the cards fall. Okay. But with the Page of Wands in reverse showing up in advice with the Seven of Pentacles reversed, what are you wasting your time on? Because the Page of Wands in reversed is like stalling, keep stalling on something, on a journey that's very, very important that they need to take, but they refuse to do it because they're immature, or they're irresponsible, or they lack the confidence to have that follow through. So with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, like, what do you keep giving your time to? And, like, what is that bringing you? What is that doing for you? Is that doing something for you? So I think it's really just about getting started on the journey. Um and God, it's almost like they feel as though you think you're something that you're not. And I know that sounds really harsh, but I have to tell you, because I feel that. I feel like they believe that you are something or someone that you think you are, but you're not. They feel like you need to take a step backwards and regroup or recalibrate. Like, I almost want to tell you, like, be the real deal, you know? I don't know. Sorry if this is reverse for some of you guys. Anyway, Sag, that's what I have for you. Thank you so much. I hope that you will like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you would like to book a super chat question with me, you can head on over to hipsy.com/Violetta Alexis to get your cards read during the live. Thanks a lot, Sag. Take it easy. What's up, Tay? Scorpio. All right. What's going on, Scorpio? I hope you guys are doing awesome. Hope you guys are having a great week so far. We're going to be taking a look at the person on your mind, what they want to say about themselves to you, and then what they want to say to you about you. And then we're going to pull some advice messages. So, Five of Wands reversed for what they would say to you. Eight of Cups for what they would say to you about you. Advice, Ace of Wands reversed. Okay, let's see that Five of Wands reversed first. Wow. What the hell? I just heard that song. I think it's called Player by Big Pun. God, I haven't heard that in so long. Okay. What's that Ace of Cups reversed? Ace of Swords reversed. I think they would likely tell you that you're hard to leave. You know, even if they've broken up with you or something. I don't know why I'm getting that, but that's what I got. This is somebody who would tell you that they don't want drama. They don't want drama. They don't want to fight. They don't want the useless, pointless arguments. The Five of Wands is pointless. It's a pointless argument. We're not getting anywhere. Nobody's listening. They don't want that. They're not interested in that. What they're interested in is connecting with you on a higher level, on a more spiritual level. Um, but they feel like there's something maybe in regards to religious, spiritual beliefs, morals, values, fundamental belief systems that aren't always aligning. And they may feel like that's where you guys have the hiccup. And I think there's something about this where they feel like they don't really have clarity. They don't really have clarity on how to love you sometimes. Although they just do, they may feel like they don't know how to love you all the time. And there may be something that tends to be very mentally and emotionally draining for them. But nonetheless, if this is intimate, they love the sex. With a Scorpio, go figure, right? But they love the sex. They feel very connected to you. They would tell you that this is something that they've never experienced with anyone. The lovers is a very, very rare connection. You really don't get many of those in your life, if at all. So that's what they feel about you. They may feel as well that sometimes they have a choice to make between your needs and their needs as well. So that can be something. What's that? Five of Wands reversed. The Page of Swords. Mm. They would tell you that they're trying to be open-minded when it comes to your opinions or when it comes to the things that you have to say. I think that they would tell you that even if this is like an established bond, there's somebody who's still quite curious about you. There's still somebody who wants to keep up with you, watch what you're doing. And I think that this person would likely tell you that they have a lot to learn from you as well, and they've learned a lot through this connection. The Page of Swords, isn't just some little kid flipping around. It's also somebody who's highly curious and keeps an open mind in regards to learning and the information that they're taking. So I feel like this is somebody that they're taking in. So I feel like this is somebody who's still very curious about you, watches you, keeps up with you all the time, somebody who would choose you out of anybody, okay? For the most part, okay? But there's also something about this that's incredibly draining for them. So it can be very hard sometimes to I don't want to say figure out if it's worth it, but I guess endure. I guess would be the right way to say it. They have met their higher self through you and through this connection. Hmm. What they would tell you about you. The Eight of Cups, the King of Cups, the Knight of Swords reversed. What's that Eight of Cups? They feel like when you get too frustrated or impatient, you'll just walk away. Even though they believe that you love them with that King of Cups there, they do believe that you love them, even if you don't say it all the time. But they also may feel like sometimes you don't really take the lead, or you're just kind of passive. Eight of Cups is Saturn and Pisces, and sometimes Saturn and Pisces can have very diluted boundaries, you know? And so there's a level of emotional responsibility there, but there's blurred boundaries, and they feel like there's blurred boundaries between the two of you, and they feel like sometimes you can be, you know, I hate to say it, but, like, a little cowardly sometimes when it comes to your emotions, and they would likely tell you that they feel like instead of dealing with them, you may just avoid it, and I say this because that Three of Wands, is Mars energy, and Mars is about our confidence and our drive and taking the lead, and so it's in reverse. And it's clarifying the Eight of Cups, so they may feel like when you get frustrated, or if you're a man, you feel emasculated, or there's some kind of level of insecurity that you'll just kind of like dip out, and instead of just like being authentic or being honest. And they do feel like, don't get me wrong, they do know that you love them or that you care for them, even if you don't express it all the time. But it's the way that you handle your emotions that I think that they find distasteful, I guess. It's interesting because on one hand, it's like they feel like there's an emotional maturity about you, but on the other hand, they feel like there is this avoidance of it altogether, which is like such a strange place to be. Your advice, Scorpio. Ace of Wands reversed, Three of Swords, the Hermit. Whew. Damn, that's a, oh man, I didn't mean to pull three of them. Well, oh well. Um, wow. So when it comes to the pain that you may be holding inside, there's some deep reflection around this pain that you're holding in or how you deal with pain. There needs to be some kind of self-imposed journey that you're needing to take in regards to like we see Wands energy in the reverse again. So around taking initiative, around emotional situations, around situations that are very emotionally uncomfortable and needing to kind of take the lead and like be like, okay, let's just kind of face this. So when you see the Hermit, it's a call to I don't want to say inaction, but it's more of an internal job. And it's about the self and it's about self-awareness around what? Well, the Three of Swords, which is sorrow, pain, uncomfortable emotions. And so don't put these things off because maybe that's your weak spot, you know, or because it makes you uncomfortable. Please reverse this by all means if you need to. Okay. So that's what I have for you, Scorpio. Thank you so much. I hope that you will like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to get your cards read during the live and book a super chat, you can do so over here at hipsy.com/Violetta Alexis. Thanks a lot, Scorpio. Take care. What's going on, Kismet? Nice to see you. Everybody check out Kismet's channel if you have not. What's up, girl B? Nice to see you. All right, let's move on to Libra. What's going on, Libra? I hope you guys have had a great week so far. Let's go ahead and check out your person, what they want to say to you, or what they would say to you if they had the courage, and what they would say to you about you if they had the courage. Then we'll pull some advice messages. Two of Swords reversed. Nine of Cups reversed. The Devil for advice. So let's see that Two of Swords reversed first. Ooh, that's deep. Two of Swords reversed, King of Swords reversed, and the Moon. This person would likely tell you that they're very well aware that sometimes they avoid things, or it seems like they may avoid things. But this is also somebody who is very well aware of the truth, even if they don't admit it to you, or even if they don't tell you that. So that King of Swords in reverse to the Moon, this can be somebody who lies to themselves, sometimes gaslights you. This can be somebody who doesn't always tell the full truth. And if they had the courage, they would be honest with you about that. But it's because of a fear with that Moon. Maybe it's a fear of rejection, a fear of loss, a fear of judgment, right? It's all the things that we're all afraid of anyway. And so this is somebody who would probably tell you that they have a hard time not avoiding those things. I do want to see what that Moon is. Pride, lack of confidence. This person may have had a strange relationship with a mother figure in their life, okay, for some of you. Or they were overly coddled by a mother or something like that, which maybe, I don't want to say made them weak, but a little, okay? What's that King of Swords reversed? The Justice. So if this person doesn't always do the right thing, and nobody does, okay? But if they do things and you're like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, they know what they're doing. They would tell you that they know what they're doing. They know what the right thing to do is. They don't always do it though. This is somebody that would be honest about projecting their insecurities onto you at times, projecting their weaknesses onto you. projecting their ego, projecting just their insecurities in general. And it's because they don't, I feel like this person is more emotional than they let on. They're more emotional than they let on. They know what's right. They know the right thing to do, but they don't always do it. No, none of us do. This person, for a very small few of you, would tell you that they have a chemical imbalance, okay, in their brain, okay? Or there's I don't know if it's like a mental health issue or something, but for some of them that can be the case. For others of you, this is a very small portion. They lied about or something to do in regards to like a legal case, okay, or something to do with legality. But putting that aside, um, if this is somebody as well who has gaslit you recently, or they would likely admit that. They would likely admit that they gaslit you about a situation because of fear. They gaslit you about a situation because they were attempting to project something, or they tried to make you question your own reality because of this fear, because of this lack of confidence, or whatever image they were attempting to uphold in your presence. And I think that they would likely tell you that sometimes they abuse their power in this dynamic, or they abuse their power in this relationship, or whatever it may be, because of those insecurities. What they would tell you about you: Nine of Cups reversed, Queen of Wands, the Ten of Cups reversed. Well, they feel like you don't need them at all. They would, well, let's start with the good first. They would tell you that you're sexy, that they think that you're a leader. They admire you because you don't give a fuck what anyone thinks, or, at least you can, play that role, I guess you could say. They may feel like you're somebody as well who's very creative, or somebody who is like a performer of some sort, whether that's metaphorical or literal. But they would likely tell you that when you walk into a room, they feel like everybody looks at you. Everybody sees you. Everybody's watching you. Everybody's got their eyes on you. And they would tell you that they don't feel emotionally supported by you, whether that's true or not, or they feel like this is failed in some way. They would maybe even say that they feel like you're selfish, whether that's true or not. What's that Nine of Cups reverse? Let's do that. They would tell you that they know you're not getting what it is that you want out of this. And if some of you have been holding back in some way, because of that, they know the reason, they know why. Let me see that Ten of Cups reverse, the Wheel of Fortune reverse. They feel like you repeat some kind of cycle in your life when it comes to relationships, and they feel like the two of you are repeating that cycle, where it's just this constant karmic, loophole, or this constant karmic merry-go-round or hamster wheel in some way. And they feel like you don't even need it. Like, you don't even need the relationship, or you don't even need them, or you don't even give a fuck, or, whether that's true or not. They just feel like you really, at the end of the day, you don't need them. I don't know if that makes them insecure, if they feel like they need to be needed in some way. So, your advice: the Devil, the High Priestess, the World. Wow. Okay. Holy shit. The devil can be a feeling of disempowerment. It can be a fear. It can be our addictions, our red flags, the things that we cling to that, keep us where we are, keep us in place, and don't really allow us to evolve. And the high priestess is about listening to what that truly is and understanding that if you want to reach your highest potential, whether that's in a relationship or whether that's within you, to listen to what that is. Because there's something that may have you um entangled in what keeps you parked with exactly where you are. And there's something about it that's telling you that you're better than that. There's more to accomplish the world, and you're needing to take some kind of intuitive responsibility around that to empower yourself again. So that is what I have for you, Libra. Thank you so much. I hope that you will like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to book a super chat question with me to get your cards read during the live, then you can do so at hipsy.com/Violetta Alexis. Thanks a lot, Libra, and take care. All righty. Yeah, happy Pride. All right, guys, 1 second. Let me just go ahead and use the restroom real quick. I'm going to grab some water, and I will be right back. All right. Thank you guys so much for waiting. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to Virgo. That's what's up, Vanessa. Love that. Let's move on to Virgo. What's going on, Virgo? Virgo, let's go ahead and see what your person would say to you, what they would say to you about you, and then advice. Page of Pentacles reversed for what they would say to you about themselves. Three of Cups reversed for what they would say to you about you. And then your advice is the Knight of Cups. Okay, well, let's see this Page of Pentacles reversed first. Whoa. This could be another earth sign for some of you. You know what this feels like? This feels like somebody who's not willing to lift another finger until they see you do that. Because with that Queen of Pentacles, okay, this is how this person feels about themselves. So they feel like they are the Queen of Pentacles. Reverse this if you need to. So this is somebody who would tell you, I know my worth. I know what I'm capable of. I'm a great businesswoman or businessman. I am a wife or I am a husband. And um, it's almost like that energy of this is what you get, you know? Now, it's so interesting to me that you have the other court cards, the other Pentacle court cards with the Page of Pentacles and then the Knight of Pentacles, and they're both in reverse. So it almost makes me feel like it's a been there, done that energy, and I don't want to do that again. This may be somebody who would tell you that they feel like there's going to be some level of a missed opportunity here, either due to some level of manipulation, or this person may feel like they would likely tell you that they're still working on some insecurities, maybe with where they're at in life. Let me see that Page of Pentacles reversed. The Ace of Pentacles. So much earth energy here. Yeah, it's like that. It's like that energy. If you want it, come and get it. I'm here. I think this person would tell you that, they don't have a problem taking the initiative because the Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn. It's cardinal energy. They're not afraid to go after what they want, but they may still be working through some level of insecurities in regards to caring too much about what people think sometimes, maybe specifically caring too much about what you think. But it feels to me like there's something about this person saying, meet me where I am. Meet me where I am. And it's that energy of like needing to start over or needing to start something over in some way. Because the Page of Pentacles being reversed, well, the Page of Pentacles comes after the Ten of Pentacles. So it's like that, oh wow, you're graduating from, you're finally getting everything what you want, but there's still more to learn. There's still more to build. But the Ace of Pentacles is the very beginning of all of it, where it makes me feel like something wasn't working in the way that this person had built something with you. And so now they're feeling like something has to start over. They would likely tell you that they're aware of their own insecurities and they're aware of their own stubbornness sometimes, but they would likely tell you it's because they feel like they know what they're worth, and maybe sometimes they don't give themselves enough credit or something like that. So this person, if they feel like something is not up to par, they can be the type of person who digs their heels in. But I think that ultimately this person is likely very committed to you. So if this is like a marriage or an already established bond, or this is somebody who's willing to, they may even like in their mind be committed to you in some way, but it's like there's a need to start over in some way, shape, or form. What they would say to you about you, the Three of Cups reversed, the Judgment, the Seven of Cups reversed. They would tell you that you need to be real with yourself, especially if it was regarding a third party, gossip, rumors, drama, anything like that, and needing to take accountability around that, needing to make higher self decisions and better decisions than you've made before. And this could be somebody who is trying to tell you that if you're living in an illusion around that, or, you still want to tell yourself some kind of bedtime story around that or whatever to make yourself feel better, that's not what's going to give you that transformation in the long run. Tell me about that Seven of Cups reversed. The Nine of Wands reversed. This person says this person would say that you sometimes um fight for your own lies that you tell yourself, as opposed to just fighting for what's real and building something off of that. And this person tells you that you need to start making realistic choices and realistic decisions that are based in logic and not delusion about whatever your choices have been. Does that make sense? So it's basically needing to, they feel like you need to own up to something or decisions that you've made instead of just trying to put a veil over it and act like, maybe something isn't a big deal or whatever. The Knight of Cups for advice with the Emperor and the Four of Swords. So this is really about showing up in love and vulnerability and still needing to take a very masculine approach to the situation. The Emperor is the kind of person who is going to put his own immaturities, inconsistencies, or uh, emotions, and he's going to put them to the side because he understands that he needs to take responsibility, and not just for himself but for others, because with great power comes responsibility. So there may be this energy of you needing to heal your own inner masculine with that Emperor and that Four of Swords, because there may be something about that. But the Emperor is about authority and discipline and control, and like in a positive way. And so if you want that power, you have to be responsible for it, is basically what it's saying. So that is what I have for you, Virgo. Please reverse this if you need to. Thank you so much. I hope that you will like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to book a super chat question to get your cards read during this live, then you can head on over to hipsy.com/Violetta Alexis and you can book with me now. What's up, Tarot Troll? What's up, Underdog Tarot? All right, let's go ahead and move on to Leo. What's going on, Leo? How you doing? Hope you're having a great week so far. Let's go ahead and take a look at what your person wants to say to you and what they would say to you about you, and then also your advice. So let's see. Nine of Swords reversed. Page of Cups reversed. Advice is the Hangman reversed. All right, time to pull out another deck here. Let's take a look at that Nine of Swords reversed first. Whoa, Nine of Swords twice. Yikes. Two Nine of Swords, one in the reverse, one in the upright. If this person had the courage, they would tell you that they're worried. They're worried about themselves. They're worried about you. And this is likely someone who would tell you that there's a lot of insecurities and jealousies that they're likely having around this relationship, around this connection, and certainly around their own level of confidence. And they can go from this place of not giving a shit or telling themselves that they don't care versus caring too much, to the point where they catastrophize things, or to the point where they overthink and they create this whole scenario of what coulda, shoulda, woulda, what's going to happen, this, and so let me see what that Nine of Swords is. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse. They would maybe tell you that they're feeling insecure about another woman in your life or about a feminine energy in your life. This can also be somebody who will or would tell you that they're either worried about their finances, worried that maybe you don't like the way that they look. There's some level of insecurity that's very deep within this person as of now, and they're having a hard time taking initiative because of those things. So maybe they're having a hard time taking initiative just generally in the bedroom, maybe just generally in the relationship, or just in general terms. But it's coming from this place of anger or jealousy or, like I said, insecurity in some way. And a lot of those things can just be wrapped around that. Mm, Tell me about that Queen of Wands reverse, the Three of Cups. Ooh, this person may not like your friends. Okay. They may not like who you hang out with. They may not like who you associate with. There can be some jealousies or some angers around that. Or, maybe they don't have confidence in who you surround yourself with. For instance, if you surround yourself with, shitty people or cheaters, they may assume that that is what you are. For others, they may be thinking that there is a third party situation. Maybe there is, maybe there's not, whatever the case. They don't like it, and that's what they would tell you. They're not feeling it, dog. You know what I'm saying? They're not feeling it. The Page of Cups reverse, the Hierophant, the Eight of Wands reverse. This reminds me, now this is just what they would say to you about you. So it's kind of almost like how they would see you and what they would tell you if they had the courage. Maybe they have told you shit. I don't know. But it's like this person may view you as somebody who is stable in some way, or can be quite grounded in other ways, or is even maybe has been a mentor, like you've been a mentor for them in some way. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that they booked a Zoom call with you and you actually became their mentor, or whatever it is, but people can still be our mentor without them having that on their resume, without us booking a Zoom call with them. I mean, for goodness sakes, for goodness sakes, I don't ever say that shit. What the fuck was that? But, my children have been mentors to me in ways that I didn't even realize. I mean, so much you can learn from other people, right? So there's something about that. And I even think that this person looks at you like you're somebody who has a lot to teach, but they also feel like you have a lot to learn. And this is somebody who would tell you, stop playing victim, stop playing games, stop acting emotionally immature, or stop trying to be manipulative and then turn around and act like you're this holier than thou kind of person, or whatever the case. Now whether that's true or not that you actually do that, don't know, don't care. Just telling you what they would say to you, okay? If they wanted to, or if they had the courage. And so they can feel like that's where the blockage is. And you're not really moving forward because of this, because you think that you're holier than thou, or you think that you're this stable, da da da. But when it comes to your own wounded inner child or your sense of emotional maturity, it's kind of like, "Mwah," you know. What's that Eight of Wands reversed? The Knight of Pentacles reversed. They feel like you're going to learn, but you're just a slow learner. I heard they'll get it. Okay. So whatever that means. hmm for a very, 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 very small few of you, this person feels like you're a financial abuser. Okay. For a very, 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 very small portion, if at all. But it's almost like they feel like you need to, you know, excuse me, force some kind of narrative, or it has to be this way, or whatever. Your advice: the Hangman reversed with the Six of Wands and the Four of Swords reversed. What is success to you? What does success mean to you? The Hangman in reverse can be like where we're stuck on something, or it can be where we don't have perspective. So, like for instance, if I am equating my success to, how many followers I have on YouTube, I'm probably, gonna think I'm a fucking failure, right? Right? Um, if I put or equate success to, you know, I don't know, how fat my ass is, I'm probably not going to feel very damn successful. At least I won't. Okay, maybe somebody in here will. So it's kind of asking you, like, what do you deem as success, and what are the things that you're needing to let go and sacrifice in order to have that? Is it your own ego? Is it your own narrative? Is it, you know, whatever? And so, um, yeah, I feel like you're needing perspective on whatever that means, and I'm not sure why it's telling you that, but that's what it's telling you. So that is what I have for you, Leo. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you will like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to book a super chat question with me to get your cards read during this live, then you can do so at hipsy.com/Violetta Alexis. Thanks a lot, Leo, and I hope that you guys have a great week. Bye for now. All right, let's go ahead and move on. What's up, Carmelita? What's up, Cindy? V, you were too Virgo-ish on yourself. Oh, believe me, I know. Yeah, I know. Lovely lady lumps. What's up, some name? All right, let's go ahead and move on to Cancer, one of my favorite signs. Hey, Cancer. Let me see those little pinchers. It's nice to see you. I hope that you guys have had a great week so far. We're going to be taking a look at what your person would say to you about themselves, what they would say to you about them, and then we're going to pull advice messages. So let's see. What they would say to you about themselves is the King of Wands reversed. What they would say to you about you is the Death reversed. And your advice is the Eight of Pentacles reversed. So let's see that King of Wands reversed first. The Ace of Cups, the Nine of Cups. They would tell you they don't need you, but they want you. They would likely tell you that for the most part, they are somewhat fulfilled on their own. But you are a lot of what they want. You check off a lot of the boxes. This is somebody who likely loves you very much with that Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is an overflowing abundance of love to give to another person. And so when you have this for someone, it's a lot, you know? And if you put the Ace to the 10, excuse me, if you put the Ace of Cups, which is 1, to the 9 of Cups, which is 9, you get 10. So it makes me feel like this is somebody who is good on their own, but they want you with them. They can hack it without you, but they would prefer not to. Now, I will say with that King of Wands reverse, this is somebody who would likely admit to you that they know that their ego is pretty dank, okay? Their ego is pretty, wah, wah, you know? This would be somebody who would admit to you likely that they are easily wounded, or that they feel emasculated, or, you know, they just are easily wounded, they're easily hurt. They have an ego. We all have an ego, but it's the way that we utilize our ego versus the way it utilizes us, right? It's kind of like when we allow our brains to wander and we realize that we become a slave to our thoughts. It can be very similar to the ego. And so I feel like this can be somebody who can be a slave to their own ego or pride at times, because that's what the King of Wands reversed can be. Let's see that King of Wands reversed, King of Swords. In their logical mind, they very much know that. I think that this is somebody who sometimes has a hard time severing their ego from their logical mind. And so it's something that they would just likely admit to you. But other than that, I mean, the Ace of Cups to the 9, I mean, to me that equates to a 10 of Cups, but the beauty about it is that it's not a codependent. It's not codependent. It's a I want you, I don't need you, which I think is even better. When you need somebody, right? It's like you fucking need them, you know, they become the ball and chain, you know, like fuck, right? So when you want somebody, it's different. what they would say to you about you, they would tell you to let it go, dude. You know, they would tell you to let it go. Um, they feel like there's something about you that you need to stop holding on to because it is, what is the word? It is, what is the word? Fuck. Preventing. Such a simple word. Preventing you from evolving. So whether this is trauma, maybe it's something that they did and they're like, well, you need to let that go. I mean, I don't know. Okay. But they kind of feel like, what's that Knight of Wands reversed? The Lovers reversed. They feel like you don't have a solid fundamental belief system. And I don't know if that's about religion, spirituality. I don't know if that is about just you and your own morals or values. And whether this is true or not, I don't know. I don't give a shit. But I'm telling you, with that Knight of Wands in reverse, they feel like that's why they think that you're lost, or you feel like you're lost, or there's some kind of inconsistent mentality that you have in your life because you're not grounded in some kind of level of your belief system. For some of you, it can be that they feel like you're a cheater, or they feel like you try to hide it, or that you're inconsistent, or you need some external validation and then you turn around and you blame them for your own actions. For some of you, it can be that, but for some reason I wasn't really getting that off top or immediately. I was getting more so that they feel like you're mentally inconsistent or kind of mentally out of whack in some way because you don't have a fundamental belief system in order to build your identity off of. It's weird. And so they feel like it's almost as though they feel like you need to let go of that mentality or something. Because what's that Death in reverse? The Hermit. The Hermit is about self. Okay. So it's something about you that they feel needs changing, or something about you that needs to die and be reborn. And in order for that to happen, they feel like you have to let go of some kind of pride or some kind of ego yourself. Because while they'll admit that they have it, they may feel like you blame them for your own insecurities instead of admitting that part of the reason why you feel the way that you feel is because of just you. You guys know that thing that I do with my mouth where I go like that? My dad died when I was 3, and she used to tell me it creeps me out because your dad is the one that he did that with his mouth all the time, and it's like you inherited that trait. Anyway, I was thinking about that earlier. Anyway, so the advice, the 8 of Pentacles reversed, the King of Pentacles reversed, and the 2 of Pentacles. So I feel like for some of you, just side note, it's really time for you to focus on your finances, any outstanding debts that you have to pay, making sure that you're budgeting properly, making sure that you're able to provide for you and your family, or if there's some kind of level of stubbornness, or if you're kind of bored in your work, or you feel like things are just very monotonous, like it's telling you, you can change that. You can change the trajectory of your career or what it is that you're doing for a living. Okay, if that's something that you want to do. But that is what I have for you, Cancer. Thank you so much. I hope that you will like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you guys want to get your cards read during the live, then you can go ahead and book a super chat question over there at hipsy.com/Violetta Alexis. Thanks a lot, Cancer. Best of luck. All right, let's see here. Gemini. What's going on, Gemini? I hope you guys are having a great day. Let's go ahead and see what your person wants to say to you about themselves, what they want to say to you about you, and your advice. The Wheel of Fortune. Ace of Wands reversed. The Devil reversed. Let's see that Wheel of Fortune. What's that? Six of Pentacles reversed. Six of Swords reversed. Two sixes. Okay, well, that's positive, even though they're reversed. This person is very optimistic about you guys. This person is optimistic about where this is going. This would likely be somebody that they feel, or this is likely somebody who feels that this was fated in some kind of way. And that's probably what they would tell you if they knew any better, right? But there's also this energy about them where they're feeling like they're not really, how do I explain it? They're not really being as generous, or they feel like they can't be as generous with their time, their energy, their finances, or something like that because of some kind of unresolved issues. So for some of you, if you guys still have issues, if this is like a past person, you guys still have things that you're needing to work out, they're like, well, I don't want to give too much of this. I'm just going to kind of see where it goes. So this would likely be somebody who says, I'm very optimistic about this. I don't want to try to hold on too tightly or try to control this. I want to make sure that I'm being responsible. I want to make sure that I'm showing up. This person looks like a man. Okay. So I want to make sure I'm showing up as the masculine or just a masculine energy. But I'm very optimistic as to where this could go. So this person is not trying to control you. They're not trying to, control the outcome per se. They just want to kind of roll with it, is what they really want to do. This would likely be somebody who would tell you that they're learning a lot from you as well through this journey of this relationship, or the dynamic or that they have. And I do believe that this is somebody who wants to be the absolute best that they can be, despite everything. I really do believe that. And I think that this connection, they would likely tell you, has inspired that in them. So if being the best that they can means that they start doing better in their career, maybe they weren't faithful before and they become faithful, and they did, who knows, right? But it's like there's something about you that has inspired that in them, and that's likely what they would tell you. I do want to see that Wheel of Fortune. Whoa, Six of Cups reverse, 666. Interesting. That is really interesting. Here, I'll show you. So, where there may have been grudges, this person wants to let that go. Where this person has maybe lacked some level of maturity, okay, they want to let that go. They want to evolve and they want to move forward. They want to expand this connection in a way that can be very fortuitous for the both of you. But I still think that they're having a hard time with something from the past where they can feel apprehensive towards giving more for some reason. What they would tell you about you is the Ace of Wands reversed, the Knight of Cups, and the Temperance. What's that Ace of, I mean, not the Ace of Cups, did I say the Ace of Cups? No. The Ace of Wands, the Magician reversed. I think that they would probably tell you they wish that you would take initiative a little bit more. I think that they want to feel like they're very desired by you, or they want to feel like you'll take initiative, like you'll start the conversation, or you'll pinch their butt in the kitchen, or whatever it is. But they would tell you that you get in your head too much, or they may feel like there's some kind of insecurity or some doubt about yourself as to why you don't take the initiative. They may also tell you that they want you to take action when it comes to being vulnerable, when it comes to balancing out the scales, when it comes to creating something within the relationship. Like, they want you to be vulnerable. They want you to be open. They want you to read to them your fucking poetry in a canoe like Little Mermaid. Whatever the thing is, they want that from you. But sometimes they may feel like you're apprehensive, or they would feel like something is a false start because of your own insecurities, or because maybe you get into your head too much, or they may feel like you're maybe even playing this cat and mouse game with them sometimes, which they may not want. So that may be a part of the reason why they're like, well, I guess I'll see where it goes, kind of thing, and they're very optimistic about that. But at the same time, I think that they're not willing to give all that they could because of that seed of doubt. And so this is somebody who feels like you have a lot to give. You have a lot to give. You have a lot to offer, especially when it comes to your level of vulnerability and even bringing some kind of balance into their life. But they want you to initiate it more, or they want to see more of that from you. They want to see more passion. I think they want to feel very desired. And maybe some of you make them, maybe you feel like you do make them feel that way, or whatever it is. Like, I don't know. I'm just telling you, like, what they would say, okay? Like, I really believe that they want to hold space for you. They wanna hold space for you. They just want to know that you want them to hold space for you, or something like that. The Devil reversed, the Two of Wands reversed, and the Page of Pentacles. So the Devil in reverse can talk about where there needs to be some kind of realization around what's holding us back, okay? So whether that's an addiction, some kind of perceived flaw, some kind of insecurity, whatever it is. And the only way that we're going to actually be able to put an effort towards the things that we know are going to be fortuitous for us is if we can be aware of those things that are holding us back. But there's something different that you're needing to do. You're needing to go about this in a different way. You're needing to go about life in a different way. You're needing to do something out of your comfort zone that's going to kind of break the mold a little bit. And that's how you're going to essentially get the results that you want. But the Page of Pentacles for advice, I mean, this is no slouch. Like, the Page of Pentacles, he or she is going to put in work. Like, the Page of Pentacles is not afraid of hard work, is not afraid to learn, is not afraid to take the time, is not afraid to take their time. And so I feel like don't rush anything necessarily. Just do things in a different way than you have been. Okay. Maybe it has nothing to do with them. I don't know. Just telling you. So that's what I have for you, Gemini. Thank you so much. I do hope that you will like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you would like to book a super chat question to get your cards read during the live, then you can do so at hipsy.com/Violetta Alexis. Thanks a lot, Gemini. Take it easy. Have a great week. It's going to drive me crazy. What's going on, Taurus? How are you guys doing? I hope you're having a great week so far. Let's go ahead and take a look at what your person would say to you about themselves, what they would say to you about you, and then the advice. So let's see. What this person would say to you about themselves is the Page of Wands. This could be something new. What they would say to you about you is the Seven of Cups, okay? Advice, the World. Okay, let's see that Page of Wands first. Ooh. Okay. This person would likely tell you that if you need to apologize for something, or if you have, they forgive you to an extent, or they are sorry maybe about something that they've done. but I feel like it's more about forgiveness. That Five of Cups reversed being clarified by the Page of Swords reversed, it makes me believe that this person will admit to not having the full truth or knowing something completely. So they're just kind of willing to let it go. But I do believe that there's still a question in their mind about certain things. And so that leads to the Ace of Pentacles reversed. So while they're like, okay, well, I guess I'm just willing to let that go or whatever, there's still this question in their heads. And that's why the Ace of Pentacles is reversed. Now, the Ace of Pentacles reversed is like, yeah, I don't know if I'm willing to put in that much work because of this mystery question about the past, around something that you've done, around something you didn't do, around whatever. So they're like, like, I'll talk to you, I'll flirt with you, wee, fun, 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 but like, I'll let go of the thing, but I don't know if I'm really willing to plant seeds like that. Ace of Pentacles reversed with the Knight of Swords. So they still have questions about something from the past. But I don't know if they're tell me about that Page of Swords reversed. The Seven of Swords reversed. They're assuming you're guilty about something. And they still have a lot of questions, but they're not asking them. Or maybe they have, but they're just like, well, whatever. I don't fucking believe your ass, or something like that. So they're kind of like, I'm not planting seeds here. I'm not planting seeds here. Like, I'll say hi, I'll flirt with you, I'm here, but I'm not here. Okay. I'm, playing fucking hopscotch on your driveway. I'm not planting a garden in your backyard, kind of thing. Because there's still some assumptions around the past that they're kind of like, yeah, it's a no for me, dog. You know what I mean? And what they would say to you about you, they either would be like, you have options and you're hiding them, maybe. They may feel like, you're fucking delusional about something, and you rather just kind of live in your head or live in this, projection of reality that you feel is real, or that you've made a reality just because you don't want to fight. Let's create this story instead of just like being honest about something, or let's lift up this rug and see what's really under there. And they feel like, you need to admit to that, or you need to take accountability for that, or you need to stop avoiding it altogether. But they feel like you're just defensive, or like you're trying to protect something that you've been suppressing or you've been hiding in some way. Now, whether that's true or not, don't know, don't give a fuck. I'm just telling you, it's something like that. Let's see what that Seven of Wands is for shits and giggles. Four of Wands reverse. Like you are insecure about something. So instead of kind of letting them in and dealing with it, you're like, kind of like keeping them at a distance when they get too close about a specific topic. So I feel like they're not invested, or they would tell you, I'm not invested as, they would probably tell you, I'm not invested as I could be because I feel like you're a liar. you know, Reverse it if you need to. Advice is the World, the Hangman, and the Three of Wands. So the World can sometimes be about taking responsibility. We need to finish what we started, and we need to be willing to make the sacrifices along the way, even if it changes the perspective that we wanted to cling on to. And that, because that's the only way that that's going to lead to some kind of expansion in regards to our love for another person, in regards to our accomplishments, in regards to who we are, in regards to our overall perspective. So that's what I have for you. Thank you so much, Taurus. I hope you will like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to book a super chat question with me to get your cards read during this live, then you can head on over to hipsy.com/Violetta Alexis. Thanks a lot, Taurus. And obviously, I wish you the best. Bye, Vanessa. Have a good one. Good night, underdog. All righty. Shall we move on to Aries? Okay. Now let's do it. What's going on, Aries? I hope you guys are doing super awesome. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. Let's go ahead and see about the person on your mind and what they would say to you about themselves, what they would say to you about you, and then advice. Okay, this is a feminine energy, so if you're feminine, reverse it. Judgment reversed, Chariot reversed. So let's see that Queen of Cups for what they would say to you about themselves. They would likely tell you that they're in love with you, that they do love you very, very much. They have a lot of empathy for you, and they're very sensitive to you. And I think that they're likely just a sensitive being in general. But they also probably don't like that they may feel overly dependent on you in some way, or they may feel at times like they have to be something that they're not in order to get some level of approval. They may feel like there are boundaries that are blurred. They may feel like they've lost themselves in some way. They've lost who they are in some way by trying to be something that they think that you want. Um, Ten of Swords reversed. This person has a hard time around your approval. This can be sometimes somebody who does have this codependent relationship towards you, and they have a hard time letting go, even when they feel like they betrayed themselves because of it, or even when you betray them. And so there may be this energy of them, while they love you, they may also feel like sometimes they need to let you go because they don't really, they feel like it's an illusion or a delusion or whatever the case may be. And so why that Eight of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, they either feel like they need to walk away because of a third party, or because sometimes you guys just are not on the same page, or you guys don't work together as a team, and that's what they really want. But they feel like they can't work on a team when they're too busy trying to work for your approval or your validation, or, you know, getting a good boy or a good girl sticker on their fucking binder or whatever the thing is. You know? They do love you. And I think that, like, you know, when I read tarot, I also look at how the cards are facing, right? It's like the Queen of Cups is here, but she's not really looking over here, and that Eight of Cups isn't looking over here either. And so it's like she's trying to ignore this part of it, you know, or this Queen of Cups is trying to ignore this, all of this, and that's really hard to ignore. What they would tell you about you. Oof. Yeesh. They're kind of like, do the right thing. Judgment reversed, Five of Swords reversed, and the Justice. This can be somebody who feels like if there's been a separation, they feel like you don't even want to see them, even if it means like apologizing or doing the right thing, if that's something that you're needing to do. But other than that, it's really not wanting to face something. They feel like you refuse to face something because you're not going to get the outcome that you want anyway. So you just keep, you know, staying the same, or there's no transmutation. There's no evolution, really. There's no accountability for your actions because you rather just take a passive approach when they feel like you need to be very honest and you need to be fair about certain things that have transpired. What's that Judgment reversed? The Star reversed. There could be something that they felt like you did not share with them that you should have. They feel like you're doing it as well because of your selfishness, instead of just being like, "You know what? This relationship is worth it to me. This relationship is worth it to me to just be honest and be like, "Hey, yeah, I fucked up," or "Yeah, I did this," or whatever the case." Sometimes they feel like they need to keep proving themselves in order to hopefully, at some point, feel like it's equal. Because there is this, like, needing that approval from you. And it sucks because they believe that you won't even be honest with them, or maybe even honest with yourself about something that has transpired. So for advice, the Chariot reversed with the Five of Pentacles reversed and the Three of Swords. If you keep trying to force something, it's going to break. Like, whether that's forcing a narrative, whether that's forcing somebody to be something that they're not, forcing yourself to be whatever. Especially if it's like you trying to fill some kind of void, and you trying to force something in order to fill a void, or in order whatever, when it's really coming from a place of pain, and it's going to fail that way. It needs to be coming from a place of not needing to force something, but having the emotional determination to make something work because you want a victory. So if you are wanting to heal something within self or with this person, you're going to need to take action. You're going to need to do it. You're going to need to take the initiative. So that is what I have for you, Aries. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you will like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to get your cards read during this live, you can go ahead and book a super chat question over here at hipsy.com/Violetta Alexis. Thanks a lot, Aries, and I'll catch you next time. All right. It is now time for my super chatters. All righty. All right, let's see. We have number one. Super chatter number one. All right, let me see. Let me answer. You're having a hard time trusting the process, I think. It could have felt like something was erratic, or someone left your life abruptly, or something happened that was very unexpected. And all it is truly just something that is unresolved within you. I think that your intuition told you something quite a long time ago. You may have suppressed it, or you may have ignored it in some way, which could have led to like where you're at right now. I'm not saying that you not listening to your intuition was the cause of something catastrophic and it's all because you didn't listen to your intuition. I'm just saying that this is a piece of it. And I also think that you're focused potentially on the potential of someone or the potential of something as opposed to the reality of just what it is now, which is like all of us, right? I think that you wanted some kind of success, or you maybe wanted this person to take responsibility in some way. You wanted to be able to look at this with some level of optimism. And so it can just be that now you're at this point where you feel like you're in the dark. And when we feel like we're in the dark, sometimes we believe that the person who left us in the dark is the only person that can turn on the light switch, when that's really not true. And so usually when we feel someone in our energy, it's just because there's something unresolved within us. And so if we have, like, for instance, if we have been abandoned our entire lives, or we have been abandoned by some caretaker and now we are abandoned by this person, it is a trigger. And it is a trigger for a reason. It is attempting to show us that there is something within us that is still unresolved. And a lot of the times, the universe will put people in our lives in order to do just that. So there is something that is not necessarily revolved within you, and it could be or stemming all the way from childhood, but there's a lesson in it, and there is happiness to be found within whatever this current circumstance is or whatever this dynamic is. It's whether or not you choose to see it. Thank you so much, number one. I am obviously wishing you the absolute best. Thank you kindly. Number two, I'm not reading these out loud because I feel like some people want these private. All right, let me see. So for the first question you asked me is if this person will reach out to you soon. Um, let's see. The Two of Cups. Okay, that's good. The King of Cups. Wow. Seven of Pentacles. This person is thinking about it, but they're taking their time, and they feel like they need to take their time because they're trying to be emotionally responsible. Here, I'll show you the cards. This person is clearly still very in love with you, still feels connected to you. But the King of Cups, he doesn't always necessarily express his feelings, although they are very, very much there. And the Seven of Pentacles is somebody who's trying to figure out, am I still invested in this? Well, yes, because of the other energy, but do I still want to be invested in this? That is the true question. So I do believe that you will hear from this person, and it's not necessarily about, if, it really is just about when, but they feel like they need to take their time. Well, I want to see something. Okay, there we go. So let's see. Page of Cups reversed. So that's not really a time telling. Court cards to me don't time tell per se. Um it usually happens before you feel like you're ready with a page energy. So it can come when you least expect it. Like for instance, with what you told me, okay, in the super chat question, you told me like the reason why it didn't work out. Maybe you are doing that thing when he does reach out and you're like, oh shit, I'm doing this thing again. Or it's just very unexpected. So it can be when you least expect it or when you feel very unprepared. Okay. I don't know. Now you're going to be going to the grocery store and like decked out in heels and hair fully done, right? I know that'd be me. So let's see here. Wow. I was curious about his feelings. I got the 10 of Cups. I got the Tower reversed and I got the Four of Cups. So while he's disappointed with something, while he is still feeling like, he's focused on the flaw of what occurred. He's focused on the negative quite a bit, but that doesn't mean that positive feelings are not there, because they certainly are. I mean, come on, the 2 of Cups, the King of Cups, the 10 of Cups. I mean, you can't make that up. And with that Tower reverse, this is somebody who has not let go of the relationship. I even feel, to a degree, he's still committed to you, especially on an emotional level. So that's still there. Let me see that 4 of Cups, Queen of Swords reversed. So he may be disappointed because of, I already know why he's disappointed, but there's other things with that. So it could have been something that you said, if you lashed out, if you weren't thinking logically, if you said something from more of an erratic emotional mind as opposed to a logical, mature frame of mind. So it may have been something specifically that you said that really made him upset. Or maybe it was something you didn't say, but nonetheless, he's still here. He's still here. Let's see what he truly wants from you. So, I mean, what he truly wants from you is the 9 of Wands reversed, the 10 of Pentacles, and the 8 of Swords reversed. Well, if somebody wants the 10 of Pentacles from another person, I mean, you know, um, number 2, you can't get much better than this. The 10 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles, that's the end all be all. That's when you have everything with another person. That's when something is future focused. That's when something or someone is responsible. And so what they're doing is they're making um healthy decisions now in order to have a healthy future, and that's what that 10 of Pentacles is. And so I feel like he's wanting you to give in to that, because he feels like you're keeping yourself in this merry-go-round, or in this kind of stuck mind frame in some way or another. What's that 9 of Wands reversed? The Strength. He wants you to be stronger than what you're doing now. He wants you to learn how to hold back, or hold your tongue, or have better coping mechanisms, right? Or whatever it is, because he may feel like the reason why is the root of it all can be due to some kind of lack of confidence in some way, like at the root of it all for some reason. Your advice: Ace of Swords, the 3 of Pentacles reversed, and the Hierophant. Mm. So if you really want to get on the same page, this is not just about being honest with himself, but this is also about being honest with you, and like basically like cutting the shit. Okay. So, sometimes we need to do that. Sometimes this can be a call to action when we're needing to get tired of our own shit, because that's really when the true change happens. It's not necessarily when everybody else tells us, oh, you need to change this, or you need to do this, or, you need to get a better job, or you need to go to the gym, or you need to stop drinking, or whatever. And like, for instance, I used to be a massive alcoholic, and there are people who would, talk shit about me all the time. I get it, right? For being such a drunken fool. And then one day I really did something that just screwed it up, like really just made me be like, all right. And I looked in the mirror, and I had to grab myself by my nice big lady balls, and I had to be like, yeah, this is done. And it's really is about cutting the shit, because what kind of life do you want? What are your fundamental belief systems? And how do you want to build on those? Because you can't build it like this, right? And so I feel like if you really want to get on the same page with this person, you have to get on the same page with yourself. And maybe you're on your way to doing that. But obviously, best of luck to you. I know that can be really, really difficult. I've definitely been there before. So wishing you the absolute best. Thank you so much, number 2. All right. Now we have numero 3. I'm not going to read it out loud. You Hey, number 3, I need you to stop justifying you asking super chat questions, okay? That's what I'm here for. It's really okay, I promise. You should have saw me when I was, like, absolutely head over heels obsessed with somebody before, and I was just, like, reading tarot, like, non-frickin' stop. I mean, it was insane, you know? And sometimes that's just the process you gotta go through until you kinda get over it on the other side. Alright, so let's see. Will this person reach out within the next month? 10 of Cups, yes. You got this last time, didn't you? When you did your private one-on-one session with me on Hipsy? Pretty sure you got that 10 of Cups, or it was from your last super chat. So I'm gonna say yes. I'll say yes. Why isn't he right now? The Queen of Cups reversed. The 8 of Cups reversed. This person may feel like you guys have some kind of unresolved emotional baggage, or there's a lack of boundaries that are in play in some way. This person can feel like there is some kind of emotional distrust that you have towards him, or maybe he distrusts this in some kind of way, but the boundaries may be a little bit blurred, so there can be some apprehension here. The 9 of Pentacles is telling me that you need to focus on your own level of independence, not codependence. So, the 9 of Pentacles is about enjoying your life, doing the things that you love, having fun, focusing on making money and being happy and, taking care of your body and your health, right? It's Venus in Virgo. So Venus is about what we value, it's about how we attract, it's about what we're attracted to, but it's also like where we give and receive love. And in Virgo, this can represent the more practical, realistic side of life where it can be about your health. It can be about your day-to-day routine. What do your routines look like? What do your habits look like? So something to kind of think about. Thank you so much, number 3. Always a pleasure. Take it easy. Then we have number 4. Okay. Okay. Well, let's see. Okay. Okay. I mean, I feel like this person's pretty confident. I don't think that this individual is going to bring a whole lot of drama into your life. There may be some arguments that you guys have in the future where it's just kind of like pointless. And this may be somebody who kind of puts a pin in it. So there may be some silly little drama or some needless arguments in some way, but I do feel like he's the type of person to resolve it. And with that magician there, I do believe that this is somebody who's pretty confident within themselves. Usually, men this age are, whether that's a true level of confidence or whether that could just be kind of like it's in their heads, or it's like ego. But nonetheless, I mean, the magician is showing up in the upright. So I do feel like this person has the ability to create more than what you expected, maybe in that way, maybe in something else. So there's not a whole lot of self doubt that this person has. Now, keep in mind that the magician can be a little bit of a trickster. Okay. So what you see is not always what you get, but there is a whole lot of confidence and intelligence here. So you can expect some tricks up his sleeve that might be a little fun. You know what I'm saying? Thanks a lot, number 4. Let me actually pee just really, really quick, guys. 1 second. Bye, Carmen. Kelsey, hi. All right, so we have number 5. Good for you. Oh, I love you too. All right, let's see. So, did you make the right decision? So, you got the Strength reversed, the Emperor, and the Lovers. I think that you were not confident in this person to become the emperor. And what is the emperor archetype? Well, the emperor is, the creme de la creme. He is all of the kings combined. He is responsible. He's in a position of power because he worked really fucking hard to get himself there. And the lovers is the connection that you get like once in a lifetime. But it's not like one of those like, oh my God, all encompassing romance by the seat of your pants kind of, romance. The emperor mixed with the lovers is that very responsible, very highly evolved romantic connection that's not just built off of fantasy, but off of reality and the actions that two people are taking. I feel like you made a decision because you weren't confident that this person could be that or become that. And I feel like because you made the decision, this was essentially you make or taking an order or making an order or ordering from the universe's menu and being like, yeah, I don't want that. I want this. And so I feel like because you've done that, you're likely going to come into contact with this kind of love interest. So do I think that you made the right decision? Absolutely. Yes, I do. And I feel like you've been going back and forth in regards to that for a while now. And I think it was just time, in my personal opinion. So I asked what were to have happened if you were to have stayed, and I got the Tower with the King of Swords. So eventually, whether you would have stayed or whether you would have went, eventually it would have came crashing down, and it likely would have been a big reality check because you would have realized that something just was no longer feasible, that something cannot be built on a foundation this shaky. So yes, I feel like you made the right decision. Let's see what is coming in your near future here. Let's see the next 3 months. 5 of Swords reversed, the 9 of Cups reversed, the Sun reversed. So even when the Sun is reversed, it's still a pretty positive card. It can be this energy for the next few months where maybe you're healing and you're kind of feeling like I could just never win in these fucking relationships, where you're kind of having a little bit of doubt. You may be second guessing yourself. Super normal when it comes to breakups. And the 9 of Cups in reverse can have you questioning with the Sun reversed what truly brings you happiness and what kind of person could add to your life. But first, what do you need to invest in your own life in order for you to be happy on an individual level? Now, while I'm not saying you're unhappy right now on an individual level, I think it's very important for you to put all of the focus on yourself, on your own creativity, on your own coping mechanisms, your habits, things like this. So you can kind of get into this healing and rebuilding phase for thyself, okay? Because the 9 of Cups is about self. It's about what you want on an individual basis. Not what everybody else is telling you, not what society is telling you, not what your ex told you that you needed to desire or whatever, but about what you want. And the Sun is about the self. It's about your own inner child. And I feel like you're needing to feed that. So, whatever that looks like for you. Okay. I want to say, number 5, when it comes to your life, when it comes to the responsibility, when it comes to how much you're taking on, try not to bite off more than you can chew with that 10 of Wands. Here, I'll show you. So you see that the 10 of Wands is here with the moon and the justice reversed. If you are, for instance, let's say that you really want to start socializing, okay, and so you're kind of putting yourself out there, you're getting to know a lot of people, but let's say that you end up meeting too many people and that now you feel like your whole life is dedicated to all of these other people and all you're doing is socializing, and then that's going to lead to burnout, okay? Whatever it is, it's telling you to make sure that when it comes to people, places, things that you're taking into your life, making sure that you're taking a balanced and uh everything in moderation kind of approach. So don't bite off more than you can chew. Once again, be patient with yourself and make sure that you're not suppressing your feelings or making sure that you are not dealing with your feelings through unhealthy coping mechanisms or suppressing things or distractions. So I feel like this is kind of the time for you to clear shit out, basically clean the pipes. You know what I mean? Your advice. Hmm. um the Death reversed, the King of Cups, and the Hermit reversed. It's very interesting. I feel like for a while, there's still going to be some things that you're holding on to, and that can kind of make you feel like you're at a standstill or like you're kind of stuck. You're not stuck, you're just working through things. If you can find the time to talk to somebody that you deem as a really, really great friend or somebody who's like a therapist or some kind of mentor, in order to help you release these things, in order to help you see maybe where some kind of subconscious patterns are that can lead you to a better sense of awareness, I would definitely invest in that. I think that that would be a great investment for you, whatever that may look like. Because there may still be some things that are kind of haunting you a little bit that you are needing to kind of work through. Yeah, judgment reversed. I wanted to pull an extra one to see. So there's still some things that you're needing to account for. There's still some things that you're needing to see. And sometimes that helps, or it's easier when somebody else can point it out to us. Because sometimes, if you like think about the 12th house in astrology, this is like our blind spot. It's things that we can't always access because it's behind the ascendant, right? So it's what we can't necessarily see. So sometimes we need other people to point those things out for us. So I feel like you're basically needing to interact with somebody who can give you one of these gentle triggers into more self awareness and transmutation of what you're going through now. Thanks a lot, number 5. Best of luck, obviously. I hope you're okay. That shit can be so hard, but you made the right decision. Alrighty, we got number 6. Okay, let me see. 10 of Swords. I don't think so. I think this person feels like they're kind of done, or maybe they don't. If this person betrayed you in some kind of way, then they just may not be wanting to deal with that. They just may be wanting to kind of call it quits or call it a day, honestly. Let me see what his feelings are for you. The Chariot reverse. He kind of feels like this is failed, or if he were to try to go for this, that it would be forced in some way. And it may be something that he's not really wanting to face. He could be trying to just avoid it completely and altogether. So, right now, I'm going to say no. It doesn't mean that something can't change. But don't ever wait for anybody. Don't just sit around and like put your life on hold. I'm not saying you got to go be with somebody tomorrow or sleep with somebody, but by no means at all would I ever say that. But just focusing on your life, focusing on the things that make you happy, focused on your own personal evolution, and the rest will follow suit. I promise. Thank you so much, number 6. Almost said number sex. God help me. All right, let's see here. Number 7. Sure. Okay, let's see how people see you. Six of Cups reversed. People may feel like you have a bit of a chip on your shoulder. There's some things that you're still having a hard time letting go of. You know, the Six of Cups is Sun in Scorpio. It's scorpionic energy. And so when I see Sun in Scorpio, but it's reversed, right? Like with the Six of Cups in reversed, I'm automatically thinking of the shadow side of Taurus, which can be very possessive. It can be somebody that just can't let go of something, is stubbornly sticking around, even though there's no end in sight kind of thing. So, and it doesn't have to be that dramatic. It can just feel that, or people can just feel like maybe there's something that you had happen in your childhood, or maybe you went through a bad breakup, or maybe you're very stuck on some negative memories in your life. The devil in reverse. But the good thing is that they feel like you're overcoming those, or there's a sense of self-awareness in regards to whatever that is. So once there's a sense of self-awareness, then that means that we actually can work on it because we are aware of it. So there are some people here who may have felt like you've turned your life around, or you're starting to change your line of thinking, or there's a very deep and understanding and knowing of some kind of childhood trauma, some trauma in general, or the things that you're holding on to that aren't really helping you in any way. Six of Wands. So there are some people that see you as being very successful, somebody who deserves the applause, somebody who deserves a big pat on the back for the things that you've accomplished. So whether that's you overcame addiction, you got out of a shitty toxic relationship, you achieved something in your career through very hard work and determination, whatever it is, people feel like you deserve that most likely. What's that? Six of Cups reversed? The Four of Cups. Yeah, there are people here who still feel like you're disappointed, disappointed with something that occurred. You're having a hard time kind of letting go of it. There may be some people who feel with that Page of Swords in reverse that there are a lot of things that you're assuming about the past. So let's say that, let's just be very, cliche. Let's say that you had a really bad breakup, and there are people who feel like you have the reality of the story, but you also build your own narrative on top of the story, which, is kind of like anxiety or catastrophizing things, or, you know what I mean? So we can sometimes do that, especially when we have a lot of experiences with breakups or in a certain area of life. We can take the reality of a situation, and based around those past things that we have experienced, we can think about, well, what if this or what if this? And then we can build on top of that, creating a whole nother story on top of the reality, which may or may not be true. So there may be somebody or people who feel like at times you do that around some kind of disappointing situation that maybe you have been through. So let's see what you can look forward to in the upcoming months in regards to your creative journey. Oh, that's great. Two of Swords reversed and the Eight of Pentacles, you're creating for yourself, not for everybody else. Not only are you being very creative, you are also raising the standard for yourself. You are mastering something in regards to your creativity. So, maybe you finally join Canva, and then you take a class on it, and then you master Canva, and now you're really kicking ass, in the Canva department. And maybe people end up start paying you in the future to help create thumbnails for them or whatever it is. Well, whatever it is, whatever that thing is, it's this raising the bar for your own sense of creativity and truly mastering something. You can find yourself kind of shutting the world away, putting away the distractions, and really going gung ho on whatever this project is or whatever this level of creativity is. Your advice is the Seven of Swords. Don't tell everybody your plans, strategize, you know, the Wheel of Fortune reverse. Try to avoid repeating cycles in your life that is not going to be conducive to your overall growth. So getting involved with, like, those old people from the bar from a long time ago that, haven't moved seats since, 1994, you know what I mean? Whatever the thing is, whatever that's going to keep you backwards, even if it's an old mentality, you got to be willing to let that go. Speaking of people, Three of Cups reversed. My grandmother always told me you are who you surround yourself with. And I still believe that till this day in many, many ways. And so this 3 of Cups reversed with the Wheel of Fortune reversed, who are you surrounding yourself with that is kind of holding you hostage in some way? Or who do you feel like you should be surrounding yourself with in order to move forward? So something to kind of think about, that 7 of Swords can be about protecting yourself and avoiding any fucking catastrophes. Excuse my French, okay? So something to kind of think about there as well. But that's what I have for you. Thank you so much, and obviously the best of luck. All right, then we have numero 6. Okay, let me see. 2 of Cups reversed. You guys can end up having some kind of misunderstanding here in the future, okay? And it could feel a little irritating. So there could be um um this misunderstanding that you guys have, or this disconnect that you guys have, that kind of makes you guys turn a little bit hardened to each other, where you guys kind of harden your emotions a little bit. The 7 of Cups. What's that 7 of Cups? The 6 of Swords. So it can be this misunderstanding around a choice, or around some kind of fantasy. So we could be kind of having our head in the clouds a little bit. There can be something that we're needing to resolve with each other, especially around some kind of decision that it has been or has not been made. And 7 of Wands reversed. It's like we're feeling very defensive. So there's a misunderstanding around some kind of illusion, or around some kind of choice that needs to be made, and something that needs to be resolved, because it feels like there's a veil, like we're not able to see something clearly, and we're holding on to a fantasy as opposed to the actual reality of a situation. And there can end up being these very defensive conversations that you guys end up having with each other because of that, because of the choice that is not being made, or because of a choice that ends up getting made. But that 7 of Wands in reverse can certainly be about kind of egos getting in the way, some jealousies, just getting super defensive. So something to be cautious around. Thank you so much, number 8. I really appreciate it. Number 8. That's how I find out I can keep these things confidential. You know what I'm saying? Just by numbers, color by numbers. All right, number 9. Okay, let me see the feelings about you first. Number 9. This person's feelings about you first. Ace of Cups reverse, 3 of Swords reverse. This person feels a little drained for some reason. Okay, they could feel a little drained, either because of pain that you've caused, or pain that they've caused others. And so because of that, they're having a hard time overcoming whatever that is, or even maybe taking accountability, or just simply overcoming some kind of pain that they're feeling, whether it was self-induced or induced by you. Pain is pain, right? And sometimes the worst kind of pain is the pain that we cause ourselves, which happens a lot, right? So this person is feeling pretty drained by the situation. 5 of Cups in reverse tells me that they're trying to figure out how to transmute the negative energy and turn it into something positive. If this is somebody that needs to forgive you, I feel like they forgive you. If this is somebody that needs to be forgiven, then this may be somebody who is attempting to apologize, or maybe wants to apologize in some way, because I truly believe that they want to be able to, turn a negative into a positive. So it's a letting go of some kind of regret or negativity, etc. And it seems like there is a desire to do that. But there is a drained feeling here. I heard monotonous, a drained feeling that feels monotonous. Let me see the current state of this person's love life. 2 of Pentacles reversed, Queen of Pentacles reversed. So I know that you said the possible third parties. So it seems like this person may be juggling with that 2 of Pentacles reversed around a Queen of Pentacles reversed with the Fool. So this person seems to be trying to have a new beginning in some kind of direction, specifically with this Queen of Pentacles, but she's in reverse. So when she's in reverse, this tells me that this is somebody who's not feeling super secure in the dynamic or in the connection. So this can lead to a state of coldness. This can lead to this person being very mean, very cold. You know, if you're familiar with the shadow side of Saturnian energy, it's not pretty. You know, it's very much like the hardened, pursed lip, angry old man or angry old woman, that's gonna smack you over the head with a ruler. So this person seems to kind of be having these feelings towards whomever you're at, or this person that you're asking about. But to me, I feel like this individual is juggling partners. Let's see if you will hear from him. The Temperance reversed. The Temperance reverse can be when somebody is, acting a little self-righteous. And while they're not happy with the outcome, sometimes it can be that the self-righteousness mind frame can kind of get in the way of humility, where we're willing to dissolve our own egos in order to create something with another person. So if this person were to reach out, they would have to somehow dissolve this ego that they have, or this can be somebody who has some kind of addiction, or maybe they're overindulging in some area of their life, but I don't really see this person doing that. Let me get one more. The Four of Pentacles reversed. They may try to let this go, at least for the time being. They may just try to let it go. It may not be permanent, but right now they're in this mind frame of, well, meh, you know. Let me see here. Let's see his next actions towards you. Three of Wands. This person's waiting on you. They're waiting on you. They feel like you're the Queen of Wands. Whether you believe that you are or not, I believe that this person is waiting on you. I think that this person finds you sexy, but they're like waiting on you to take the lead. The Queen of Wands takes the lead. And this is about you. So this Queen of Wands is not someone else. This is you. What does he want from her? He wants you to lose your patience. This person feels like all they have to do is just wait you out. They want you to lose your patience and sacrifice your ego or your pride to connect with them in some way. That's what I think. Because the three of Wands is about waiting. Well, waiting on what? The Queen of Wands. I said, oh, that's how they view this person. You. Let's see your advice. Nine of Swords. Um, where you go in your mind about this connection is far worse than what it actually is. And I feel like you may spend a lot of mental energy on this, when really you just need to learn to your own internal clock, your own internal guidance about this. And I feel like you should have a long time ago as well, is kind of what I'm feeling with this, and I hate to say that. The World reversed. I feel like there's something in regards to your own personal potential that you're needing to finish. Like that old project that you kind of left at the door, that old goal that you had, whatever it is. Your power is in your silence. Your power is truly in your silence. Trust me. But anyway, any goals that you have, this would be the time to revisit those. Okay. For whatever reason, it's telling me that. Thank you so much, number 9. Okay. Oh, wow. My mom is a Sagittarius rising, and she is a Sagittarius sun as well. That's really funny. And she's also a Mercury in Sagittarius. Wow, look at that Sagittarius stellium. Well, I will say this. Um, you will be having your ruling planet moving into its exalted sign, which is Cancer. So all of those pretty little Sagittarius placements are going to feel pretty damn good for the next year or so. So from June 9th, 2025 to June something 2026, Jupiter is going to be in Cancer. So Jupiter is going to be in your 8th house. So this can be a really, really great time to truly find somebody that you can be genuinely intimate with. But because this also rules your sun, it also rules your rising sign, Jupiter also rules your Mercury. All of these things going into a dark house like this, it's not going to be without its struggles. Now, keep in mind, Jupiter is still exalted in Cancer. Great. We love that, right? The 8th house is already a very watery house. So, Cancer can live here to a point. Okay. But everything about your physical body, the way that you portray yourself, the way that you think, even your career is all probably going to have a pretty big ass shift this next year. And you could end up attracting somebody who feel is a very deep, deep, intimate connection. So that's gonna be super interesting for you. So I guess get prepared for that. But just in regards to the tarot, there may be somebody here who wants to express something to you, but they may not necessarily know how, or it's that they can't because they're physically blocked. So you may have blocked somebody recently or a long time ago that is trying to get in touch with you to try to clarify something, but they may feel like they can't because you've actually physically blocked them. Now, I'm not telling you to unblock somebody, especially if they were toxic or abusive or a shitbag by any means, but it may be that somebody's wanting to contact you. Now, if this is not necessarily about somebody from the past, this can be somebody who ends up coming at a distance, but they could come in like hell on wheels, like out of nowhere. This could be somebody that ends up bringing you a lot of clarity. So you can expect potentially a conversation. It's just whether or not you're willing to welcome it. Thank you so much, number 10. All right, we got number 11. Oh, I love you too. Let's see. Do not sell yourself short in regards to opportunities that you take, opportunities that are given to you. Don't be afraid to ask for what you truly want. You hold a lot of value, but until you believe that, you're not going to receive a lot of value. So something to kind of think about. I also feel like when it comes to your finances or when it comes to your 3D reality, when it comes to your practical life, your routine, your day-to-day, what you're spending money on, how you're coping, are you overeating when you're stressed, it's basically asking you like what in your life or how in your life are you gypping yourself? How are you kinda stealing from yourself, and what needs to change in regards to that? Are you spending too much money on it could be something as simple as, are you spending too much money on fucking DoorDash? Or it is it hello. Is it something like, are you skipping out on opportunities because you feel like you're not worthy enough or you feel like you're not good enough? And it's basically saying, like, you're not gonna get very far like that, you know? The star reversed. Have you lost faith somewhere? Have you lost your way? 'Cause this is a time now where there's something that you have to share with the world. There's something inside of you that needs to be shared or shown to the world in some way, whether it's just like, creating your poetry channel and, showcasing your poetry there, or maybe you go to an open mic night or whatever it is. But I feel like this following of your higher dreams and your higher goals, and It's like when we go after something that we feel like we don't have a lot of courage in, but we do it anyway, that builds confidence. That truly builds confidence. And so I feel like especially around your bigger goals and your bigger dreams, I feel like it's important for you to heal through those right now. And I mean something that's genuine to you, not what society is necessarily telling you to do. The King of Pentacles, there's a lot of pentacle energy here, number 11. There's a lot of pentacle energy here. Is there something that needs to be healed within your financial state? Is there something that needs to be healed in regards to, once again, how much you value yourself, your budgeting, your money? Because there's something, pentacle energy is earth. It's the foundation. What seeds have you planted that you don't like? What seeds have you been watering that you do like? What do you need to water more? What would you like to grow on a fundamental level? You know? So something to kind of think about there. Thanks a lot, number 11. Good luck. Number 12, is there anything I should do to make... Sorry, I didn't mean to read that out loud. Okay. Let me see. Break out of your shell a little bit. I mean, the Four of Swords in the upright when it comes to love can sometimes represent like indifference, or we're kind of shut off, or we're spending too much time alone, or the Ace of Wands with the Four of Swords in reverse is like fucking, take initiative. Find that spark back in your life, that passion. And sometimes that means that we're needing to take initiative outside of our romantic lives in order to reignite the spark in our romantic lives. And what does that look like for you? What gets you excited? What will you actually take initiative on? What lights you up? What makes you motivated? What is attractive to you? Not just on a physical level with another person, but in general. And so I feel like this is taking action from a healed place, not from a place of indifference. Like sometimes when we become indifferent with life, it's because we're not following our purpose, or because everything is monotonous. We just keep, going on the hamster wheel where we're making decisions based off of a paranoia, or we're catastrophizing things, or we're making decisions or taking initiative based on, our self-worth, our self-value issues, and as opposed to a place of love and excitement and fun, and you know what I mean? So maybe needing to be a little bit more like lighthearted kind of thing, and just like having fun with it. Let's see how he perceives this. Ten of Pentacles reversed and the Two of Wands reversed. This is kind of like where we're at a standstill, so it's really hard to see where it could even go. This can be when we're having a hard time seeing this playing out in our future in a practical way. So he probably feels like something needs to change. Well, what is the Two of Wands reverse? It can be like where we're not planning properly, where we're on the fence, where we need to do something out of our comfort zone in order to have the Ten of Pentacles. So I don't know what that is specifically, or what he believes that is, but that's kind of what he sees. Thank you so much. Good luck. Good luck, number 12. Number 13. Ooh. So the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords can be like a lawyer. This can be like a mediator. This can be somebody who's in communication. This can be somebody who is, you know, like, when you have, like, for instance, like a counselor for like couples therapy or something like that. It could be editing, journalism, writing, analytics, counseling, education. It could be something in regards to like strategy, anywhere where intellect can kind of reign, or something to do with like um you know, it kind of can be like beauty, but the Queen of Swords is Libra. So Libra is ruled by Venus, but it's more of like the business side of things. So maybe it's like blogging about beauty, you know. Maybe you create a blog that has to do with, you know, I don't know, just beauty, okay, or relationships or something like that. And something entrepreneurial. So you got the Queen of Swords and the King of Wands. So the King of Wands can be about, you know, somebody who's an entrepreneur, somebody who's quite creative, somebody who is a leader in their own field. So maybe there is a writing business or a blogging business that you're needing to start of some sort. This can be somebody who can be like a motivational speaker. Maybe it's around relationships. Maybe it's around self worth. You know, King of Wands can be like a coach or a producer or the CEO or some kind of political leader or something like that. So interesting that you got two court cards. I feel like this is more so saying that you could do a lot more than you think you can because these are two completely different people. So that's pretty interesting to me. All right. Thank you so much. All right, guys, I love you. Please enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you so much, Lori, Complexity, Kinez. Thank you to everybody. I really appreciate you showing up for me, and I hope you guys have a beautiful evening, and I will talk to you soon.